Okay, welcome back. What we want to do is to continue with the certificate in electrotechnical technology, and we are continuing with level 3. Okay, and again, this is just an additional session. Okay, one that I feel is useful for you to know about. Okay, so how can one use safe, effective, and efficient working practices to complete electrical installations, isolation, and switching? Aimed at objectives, state what type of switching exists, state the specific regulations that apply to each of the switching areas. Okay, let's come back to make sure we can get into view. Okay, so we can. Now, revision of previous sessions. Now, we have done some sessions already, and you may find this useful. So again, look back in my playlist. Okay, especially in regards to the electrical principles section. Okay, you should find some additional work there already. But okay, now I don't need to read this out to you yourselves. You can all read quite capably. Okay, so I will let you read that. But you can see that thought must be given to the protection of yourself and other before commencing any installation, earthing and bonding, etc., and expose conductive parts, etc. Okay, an extraneous conductive part. And again, we have diagram that shows you what these actually are. So look in your on-site guide. It gives you that information. Use it. Let's pan back, make sure we get it into full view. Okay. Okay. Now isolation. Isolation is a means of cutting off the electrical supply to enable skilled people to work on or near live parts. Now, there must always be isolation and it should be designed into the system. It is not an optional extra. It's designed into the integrated system itself. It is essential that the isolator can be safely secured or kept under constant supervision of the person at risk. So what that means is that if you go to isolate something like, say, a ring main circuit, and for whatever reason you just turn the switch off at the isolator, or you just turn off the circuit breaker, what it means is that someone else can come along while you have now removed the sockets and you're handling the cables and turn that socket, that circuit breaker back on. Now that could electrocute you basically, so therefore that would be unsafe. So what it is saying is that any isolation must be done in a manner where you can remove the circuit breaker completely and isolate it from any other circuit, okay, and make it safe. Or you can lock off the circuit so no one can turn it on, only you who will have the key, okay. Every installation must have a main switch or circuit breaker that is capable of switching the whole of the installation. Now remember that when the switch makes or breaks, the voltage developed is high, okay, across the contacts as it breaks, and the current is enormous, okay. Its current is strong enough to melt your contacts themselves. So you'll find that they're extra large to handle that capacity. Okay. the number of poles that need isolating. Now, here you will need to look at the regulations specifically, and you need to take into account any changes which may have occurred since, okay? And you're now looking at the 18th edition of the IEE regs, or 18th edition of the IET regulations, because as of January the 1st, 2021, we have left the EU. So what we now need to be looking at is any changes in regards to the 18th edition and its regulations that might affect your installations and the safety of your installations at all times. Again, safety, safety, safety. Okay. So here, single phase, three phase, main switch, TNS, all live conductors is to be switched. TNCS, okay, three phase system, line conductors only, brown, black and gray phases, okay, etc, etc. You can read this for yourself. Of course, you're level 3 now. I don't need to be spending time taking you for this. Okay, and here we are, pole separation for isolation, and this is, and you should all be familiar with this yourselves by now. Okay, just tells you the poles that you switch, and here you have live and neutral double pole switch. Okay, and that will be here for your domestic use. Here, this three-phase system, that would be your main isolator, knocking those out. Okay, and it shows you here, so what is switched. Now the neutral is a solid link, okay, or the neutral in a true pole and neutral isolator, this arrangement for TT only, the neutral will be switched. And please note, it's for a TT system only. Okay. Just make sure we get the text into view so you can see the text. Now again, please note, BS7671, that's standard, but you're looking at the 18th edition of the BS7671, or the edition that is applicable to your period in time. Okay, do not forget this. BS7671 must be complied with irrespective of the edition and the period of time that you're in. So for me, for my period now, it is the 18th edition, and I will tell you this for nothing. I came when it was the 14th edition. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay, let's pan back, make sure we get it into full view. Okay. Okay, good. Thank you. Right now, requirements for isolation. Now again, it is important that you look up these regulations in the IE regs in BS7671. Okay, but these numbers may have changed, so allow for that factor. So you're looking for requirements for isolation in regards to the IEE regs or the IET regulations BS7671. Okay, that would be your index search. Now here again, 537, look, make sure that you comply with the correct regulations. Precautions have to be taken to prevent equipment being energized. There is a requirement, therefore, for adequate locking off facilities such as padlocks, etc. So to ensure your system is safe, you should always be looking at the possibility of locking it off or locking off the mains if you need to. Okay, you do not get any second chances with electricity. Safety, safety, safety. Okay. Okay, let's just pick things up. Okay. Just make sure that it's in frame. Okay, good. And again, circuits where isolation is required. Now, this is telling you where your circuit isolation should be, or your switch off points should be situated, and the reasons why they need to be in that location. Okay. Okay, I'm telling you here, like for motors for instance, it should be capable of being locked off in the off position. Okay, so when you go away to work on the motor, that somebody else doesn't come and turn the motor on and electrocuting you. Okay, and we come back and find you rather crispy and dry. That will not be very nice. Okay, so bear in mind, safety, safety, safety. Okay. We don't want any crispy, very brown electricians. Now, types of installation. There are 4 general types of installation. Each may provide a different type of problem when to come. Problem when to consider isolation and switching. Yeah, somebody has just made a Google there. Now, agriculture, industrial, commercial, and domestic. Now, domestic. You electricians like these house bashing jobs, don't you? So, but a house bashing job is not always as simple as it looks. Okay, but the problem is that once you've done it, it's done, and it's there for quite some time. Okay, so okay, thank you, and we'll stop there. Well, for this slide. Okay, all right. Switching off from mechanical maintenance. Now this is for you to read yourselves. Okay, you don't need me to be reading this out to you. Okay. And again here, main requirements for switching off from mechanical maintenance. Okay, and you need to comply with these regulations. It saves lives. Okay. and look for any change. Again, you're now looking at the 18th edition of the IEE regs. So if these numbers does not tally, you're looking for main requirement of switching off for mechanical maintenance in regards to the regulations as it stands at that moment in time, whether past or future or present. Okay, and the present IE regs is the 18th edition. So I believe these numbers still stand, but don't hold me to it. Okay, it is your responsibility to check it, and make sure that they still comply. If not, look in the index for your main heading and see where you go from there. That is your job. Regulations concerning mechanical maintenance. Okay, a means of switching off for mechanical maintenance shall be provided where mechanical maintenance may involve a risk of burns or a risk of injury from mechanical movement. Okay, and again, the regulations tells you what is expected of you. Comply with it, get it done. Okay. Okay. And again, I'm not reading this through to you because you can read them for yourselves, and that's what the purpose is here for. Okay. So again, all yours to look at and make sure you read. I want to make sure that we get it on screen, so we can see it in full and in all its glory. Okay. And again, moving, make sure you can see it in full. Okay. 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 Back. Functional switching. Okay. And this tells you what functional switchings are. Okay. So again, I don't need to read this for to you. You can read this for yourselves and recognize the different elements that goes into it. Okay. So I went a little ahead of myself there then. Okay. All right, let's just make sure you can see this in full. Okay. Then I'll pan out so we can get it into frame. Okay. Yes, that's good. That's good. Thank you. Okay. Okay. Functional switching continues. Okay. So again, I don't need to read this to you. Read that for yourselves, stage by stage. Okay. Okay. And again, these are the regulations that will comply. Now, this can save you a lot of time because you can use this as a point of reference. Okay. Okay. Firefighter switch. Okay. Let me just make sure we can get this into view full. Okay. I'm not getting any. Okay, there we are. Okay, good. And again, confirm and check and recheck and check your regulations that you're reading the right thing. Bear in mind that the regulations, this would have been done when this was the 17th edition. You need to be sure that you're up to date in regards to the 18th edition and any future additions that they may come in due course. Okay, let's just get you up. Get you back into full. Okay, full view. Okay. Okay, thank you. That will be it for now. And we will meet again in due course. Bye bye for now. Thank you.